Hi, I'm Tanya.
I'm Ayana.
And I'm Dahlia.
And welcome to Noire Youth Theater Company's production of Loud Souls International.
The conflicts and realizations of the teenage mind
Learning to be regular people.
In a world where the choices we make
are sometimes not our own.
Pieces filled with
wishful thinking,
resentment,
confusion,
solitude,
peace of mind,
love,
and hate.
Beautiful. I want to lose myself in the music, give my soul to art, forget that I have a name, and become the kind of beautiful that is only found in the heart.
A time when the days are hot and the nights are cool. The only long break we get from school is summer. What do I think of when I hear the word summer? I think of friendship, like sleepovers, 5 days long, endless calls, and warm days at the beach. Summer fun with friends is one of the best memories anyone can have, whether it be family or friends. I've always had the thought that summer brings you closer to the people you adore the most. Summer is gratification. Summer is unbound and exciting. So I cherish my summer. I cherish my friends and family, and I cherish every ounce of juncture I have left.
Flowers and vines full of life used to hold us together. When those flowers withered, you needed something more reliable, much stronger than vines and petals. You replaced them with chains that kept us together but weighed us down in the process. We went through pain, cuts, and bruises, but you only cared about that chain not rotting away trying to keep us together. But blood and bashes of hate, corruption, and betrayal made the chains rusty and weak. You realized that they were breaking, so you waxed a wave of hopeful love, but that only lasted for so long. The chains clanged loudly. Loud enough that I wish I wasn't blessed with ears. They tightened us, causing us to be cecil and traumatized by chaos, not able to breathe easily no more. Finally, the chains unlinked, and with a sigh, we parted. We turned to each other, only seeing hate, because trapped in those chains, hate was all we managed to learn. One said, "You have ignored me because you were so worried about keeping those chains strong. They did not work, and now I'll find my own way to be wanted." Another said, "You never settled for the flowers and vines, even if they weren't as strong as the chains. They always grew back, bringing us back together again. They didn't make us weak, worthless, or corrupt, or have the weight of your world on our shoulders. Those chains stained my heart with black blood and left my skin full of cuts and bruises. I've been in those chains so long, I am embarrassed by them." And the others did not care. Hatred had already settled in. They lay in the shadows and run back to the chains for guidance, because that's what they were born in, chains.
Dear society, no way should the high school image be this hard to maintain. Waking up every day experiencing this pain. Having to go to school is a stress we have gained. Wiping away the tears is a sign things must change. We must make the change. Be the change we want to see. Transform into the goddesses of today's society. The little kid you knew back then, plagued with anxiety, she prayed that one day she'd be as beautiful as the people she'd seen on TV. Wishing that she weren't so dark. Praying that she didn't have nappy hair. Sorry, I mean kinky. Hoping that one day her insecurities would leave them. Dreaming that she weren't quote-unquote ugly. But let me tell you something. You are not ugly. You do not need to change just because society doesn't like the way you look. You do not need to pray every night to be somebody different just because they don't like the real you. Treasure your kinky curls. Show them that it is your culture. You see me? I used to be that little girl, praying and asking myself, why couldn't I be society's definition of beautiful? Why couldn't I uphold the beauty standard? Why couldn't I be the girl that has pretty skin? Why couldn't I be the girl who has pretty hair? Why couldn't I be the girl that everybody loves to hang around because she's attractive? I told myself I do not need to change for society. Society needs to change for me. Society will not tell me how to live my life. I control my life. I do not need to change for anybody. I am black and I am beautiful. I am a young lady with the kinkiest of hair who has curls that do not need to be hidden. I am black and I am powerful. My black skin glows. My black will always be beautiful. And I am giving society no choice but to accept me. Yours truly, Kise Bao.
This letter isn't 4 pages, but it is sealed with a kiss. I've been meaning to tell you this for ages. You won't be missed. You had my heart torn up and put in cages. But now it's free, and I feel bliss.
What a strange being you are. God knows where I would be if you hadn't found me sitting all alone in the dark.
I have someone who I love and appreciate deeply, someone who loves me, someone who is nice and nice enough to be harsh when needed, someone who provides what is needed, someone who provides what is wanted. I love this someone, which makes me wonder, why am I deserving of this someone? I did nothing to deserve to come into this life. I often do things now that are less deserving than others. But then I clear my head. I move on from that thought. I forget I had that thought. And so a new thought must arise, and eventually I find one in particular. I have someone who I love and appreciate deeply, and someone who loves me, which makes me wonder, why am I deserving of this someone? But on the contrary, I have someone I love, but someone who gets on my nerves. Someone who does so much about so little, someone who may contradict themselves at times, someone who has flaws, and so someone I see myself in. Loving this someone can be hard sometimes, but I'm sure someone feels mutual about that. So we move on. Someone loves me and I love someone. Eventually, somebody annoys somebody, but that's okay. Nothing is perfect. I experience the ups, I experience all the downs. But after the downs, the ups soon return, and I love every second of both.
What the hell would I be without you? Brave face talk so loudly, hide the truth. 'Cause I'm sick of losing soulmates. So where do we begin? I can finally see you're as messed up as me. So how do we win? 'Cause I'm sick of losing soulmates. Won't be alone again. I can finally see you're as messed up as me. So how do we win? I won't take no for an answer. I won't take no for an answer. I won't take no. No, I won't take no. 'Cause I'm sick of losing soulmates. So where do we begin? I can finally see you're as messed up as me. So how do we win?
I'm a puzzle. You opened me up. From the start, you have expectations. I am not your expectation. I confuse you. The pieces, none fit together. I'm a puzzle, but there is no solution, because I am not one to give out all of my pieces. Has this happened before? My packaging had been ripped open long before you came. They couldn't understand me, vigorously trying to force the pieces together until they gave up. I'm a puzzle. I'm frustrating, difficult. I have problems. Don't we all? You think you know what my purpose is. You think you know what I'm supposed to be. But I perplex even myself. There is no telling what is wrong with me. I am a puzzle, but I am not a game. Please don't play with me. I am in pieces, but I am not broken. Stop trying to fix me.
What is self-love? Some people say self-love is a scam. Why give yourself all this confidence only to be torn down by other people? But the point of self-love is to not care what others think about you, to be carefree of judgment. Ride your own wave, bake your own cake and eat it too. Not stumble into a rose bush tricked by its beauty and cut your flesh while watching the droplets fall upon the leaves, left with scars bigger than before. But I've come to the conclusion I've not stumbled nor been stung or pushed. My love for myself was willing. I ate the oleander flower. My teeth sunk into each petal until there were none left, leaving me to become infected with myself. For the love I have for myself is so toxic and repulsive, it oozes disgusting, chunky green clumps, making my eyes water and throat swell up. For the love I have for myself is so catastrophic, it leaves trails of torn down trees and broken windows. The love I have for myself is like a slug, leaving slimy, thick layer coating everything of mere fleeting moments.
Teenage mind often misread, teenage mind often misled, teenage mind misunderstood. I just need to be reassured. I try to find hope in a world full of darkness, and I struggle to find love in the hopelessness. I try to stay positive, but how do I cope with this? How do I cope with being a teen in 2021? Do I actually matter, or am I just another one, just another girl being young? But are you really seeing me though? So you see the pain and the hurt in my eyes, or are you fooled by the smile too? I say I'm okay just so I can get through, but not only am I trying to convince myself, but I'm trying to convince you. In a constant debate with the angel on my shoulder, should I stay quiet or should I be bolder? But the child within just wishes her daddy would hold her. Teenage mind often misread. Teenage mind often misled. Teenage mind misunderstood. I just need to be reassured. And yet, in the midst of my pain, I see a glimpse of hope, and I hang on tight to it, tugging like it's a piece of rope. I long for the light. I'm done with the darkness. But as I reach towards the light, something is weighing me down, tugging on me, making me stay to the ground. I don't want to go back. Just please let me out. But once I realized it was me holding me back. My doubt, my worry, my past, my fury, all the things that made me so angry. And I realized this, the shackles that seemed to bound my feet were no more. I was finally free. So I ran, I leaped, I jumped towards hope, just to realize hope was me.
I have gunpowder in my chest, and it's blooming like a heart. It's beating, shooting bullets with such precision. The birds scramble throughout the air, and my words skim past inert faces. My feeble voice and the thin line between actuality and not make me realize I did it for you. I can stand you. Falling out of love with me, yet I'm optimistic. I know loving you is as damaging as addiction, but I'm infatuated with your adoration. It's ironic to think that at first I wasn't planning on leaving everything behind for you. I found passion and you became my obsession. I need you. I'm suffering. I'm bitter. And now I'm lonely. All because I did it for you. Why leave me when my trepidation is missing you? How come you don't cry back when I'm craving for your denied time, when I'm yearning for your invalidated attention? Didn't I do it for you? You left, and I stayed. You're silent while I talk. You're miserable, and I'm in love. You're a band-aid that I'm too scared to rip off. It's the worry of what I'll find underneath. Has the wound healed? Am I back to normal? No, because you inflicted this pain. Even though all you did was increase my number of scars, I still did it for you.
I've been feeling like a Monday morning. I've been feeling like this house is foreign. It's been a minute since I heard you calling. I've been thinking that I just might call you. Do you really think I'm just that boring? Would it really be a sin if I'm missing you? Whoa. 'Cause we do this every time. It ends the same. Leaving my pride in the rear view, but I do it all for you to call my name. I know I have no right to ask it, but if I was the last girl on earth, would you call my name? 'Cause I've been feeling like you would rather turn away. If I was the last girl on earth, would you call my name? But that ain't you. I've been feeling like I'm miles from normal. I've been feeling like a god turned mortal. I was thinking we could both be cordial, but what's cordial when I need you? Do you really have to be that formal? We both know we don't have the time. Oh, we still do this every time. I'll take the blame. I'm leaving my pride in the rear view, but I do it all for you to call my name. I know I have no right to ask you, but if I was the last girl on earth, would you call my name? 'Cause I've been feeling like you would rather turn away. If I was the last girl on earth, would you call my name? But that ain't you. Say you hate me, I can't see that when you cut me, I still bleed. And say you miss me, I don't mind. When will it be enough? Let's do this one more time. Let's play this game. No matter how much it aches to, 'cause I do it all for you to call my name. I know I have no right to ask you, but if I was the last girl on earth, would you call my name? 'Cause I've been feeling like you would rather turn away. Felt the last girl on earth, what you call my name? But that ain't
Oh, when did you fall out of love? Out of love. Oh, when did you fall out of love with me? Pretty girl. That's what you call me, pretty girl. One of my creators, the first man to make me feel loved and forgotten so quickly. Anytime I answer the phone, you say, hey, pretty girl, tell me a story. Tell you a story. How do I tell you that I have accomplished so many things without making your heart ache? Knowing you weren't there to make them happen, nor there when they happened, how do I tell you that there's a void in my mind, in my heart that only you can fill? How do I say, I know you're here and I know you're trying? Well, why couldn't you try before? Why did I stop seeing you? Why can't I remember your presence in my past? All I remember is you leaving. That night, Mama was screeching and howling at you, her voice damaged, distraught, and croaky, crying out to you, calling you bastard, bastard, bastard. That's the only word I remember from that whole night. I was 6. I didn't understand anything. And I still don't understand. I've heard too many stories to decipher the truth from fabrication, so I can't help but think. It's my fault, isn't it? Everything was fine before I came along. Did I become a burden? Maybe a third child was too much on your pocket. You seemed fine. You both seemed fine, but at the same time, parents never express what happens behind closed doors, so all I can say is I'm sorry. And I love you. When we meet eye to eye, I can't help but speak because the silence will give me away. You do what you can. No. You do the bare minimum, and I appreciate that. Thank you. But I feel selfish. Not everyone has what I have. You came back. You are enough. But you felt distant when I needed you most. You felt distant when I needed you most. Felt distant when I needed you most. Distant when I needed you most. When I needed you most, I needed you most. There's not a thing I could say, not a song I could sing for your mind to change. Nothing can fill up the space. Won't ask you to stay. But let me ask you one thing. Oh, when did you fall out of love? Out of love. Oh, when did you fall out of love?
with me.
We rise and we fall. Life is lost and death encountered. And though growth is destined, some may never reach their full potential. Lost in the abyss of being approved by society's acceptance. Knowing deep down that being able to embrace one's greatness is not just a dream, but a reality in one's present. An abundance of things happen, with many being completely oblivious to life's questions and answers, leaving them only to hope for another day, which ultimately becomes 24 hours of an emotional marathon.
I always wanted to be one of those women who look beautiful. That's never going to happen, so I harm myself to feel beautiful. My mind gets cloudy, my eyes get glazy, tears fall softly like feathers hitting water. Is it me I'm going to hurt, or is it somebody I care deeply about? I should care who I'm hurting. I feel the tension in my body as I tear like paper. People may think I'm dumb, ask why I do this to myself, and I can't tell them a reason why. It just makes me feel good. I glimpse at the red ink on my canvas painting a waterfall. My eyes swell up, my nose is flushed, my mouth is full of saliva, my head screaming out in torture, begging me to stop. But they're not cuts. It's not blood. It doesn't hurt because it's beautiful. I was talking to this girl months ago, and she saw my scars. She asked, "What do they mean?" I was genuinely confused about what she meant until she showed me her portrait and said to me, "My leg scars now show I'm hurt. My arm scars show I'm depressed. My nails show chewed anxiety. My scars might not be as deep as others, but that doesn't mean I haven't cut." I really want to stop.
The sun goes up and the sun comes down. We rise and we fall. Life is lost and death encountered. And though growth is destined, some may never reach their full potential. Lost in the abyss of being approved by society's acceptance. Knowing deep down that being able to embrace one's greatness is not just a dream, but a reality in one's present. An abundance of things happen, with many being completely oblivious to life's questions and answers, leaving them only to hope for another day, which ultimately becomes 24 hours of an emotional marathon.
Hard as cold as ice. I wish there was something in
It's hard to fall asleep when the pain is razor deep. I love how the pain is soothing, relaxing and moving. It proves that actions speak louder than words. Why can't I seem to find a reason to reason? Why can't I seem to find something to believe in? Does anyone know how to deal with the feeling of dysphoria? Dysphoria, can't seem to feel like I have a purpose. I just have to fail. Life isn't perfect. Does anyone know how to deal with the feeling of dysphoria? Dysphoria.
The sun goes up and the sun comes down. We fall and we rise. Success is achieved and failure earned. The acceptance of peace is obstructed and light meets darkness. Pulled towards the shadows because the light is too bright, which makes you notice. We lean to pain before tranquility because we don't want the mic to explain our feelings. Being the narrator and protagonist of our own lives, we look down on ourselves, not knowing whether the actions we have made are basically a lie. But finally, the truth is revealed through the decisions and choices that we make, and our emotions rise to the surface. And we have the opportunity to discover their meaning and what they intend to embody in the moments we witness them. The sun goes down and the sun comes up. We rise and we fly. We soar to become greatness, still gliding over the problems that have not been solved. Those that deteriorate the very foundation that we stand on. Soil impure, trees rooted with grace and redemption. Though we have never watered the land to see our trees in their full potential. Not realizing that the seed has been planted and some of us have not been there to watch its progress. So, we let our human nature fester, stooping down to our lowest, a cycle that has become deeply embedded. But do we know this?
Dear thief, some days I imagine you as a man sitting alone in a cell, wearing an orange jumpsuit and an ugly smirk. Some days I imagine you as a giant beast, dark and nasty, eyes red, claws bloody, with a hole where a soul should be. But no matter what you are, of all things, dear thief, who made you God? Who gave you the right to turn my world inside out? You took something from me. You made memories into novelties, what were supposed to be our moments into frail flowers growing out of cracks in the pavement, only to be stepped on, because they were crushed before even given the chance to bloom. Dear thief, how do you teach a little girl how to pick up the pieces of her broken heart? Warm tears rolling down her cheeks only to be replaced in a perpetual cycle. She is falling through a deep, hungry emptiness, and it is helpless. Thorns in her chest as she cries desperately for a sign, an answer. But there is only echo, and I can still feel these scars left on me like a stagnant ache in my mind whenever it rains. Because you can stitch a wound back together, but it'll never be as good as whole skin. Dear thief, how would you answer if I looked into your eyes and asked you why? This curiosity pings me like a flag taunting the wind, but the strength it takes to keep asking these questions is wearing my soul. I am tired. Thief, I'm tired, and I am angry. There were consequences, but there will never be justice, because the world was not set right. The world will forever be spinning off its axis because he isn't here. And there are nights I wish the roles were reversed. I would trade your life in a second. But that is all it is. It's wishing. So, dear thief, I hope you never find the cool side of the pillow. I hope you find pebbles in your shoes, and I hope you stub your toe in every doorway you ever walk through, because that is how it feels every time I wish he was here. It is a vacuum, a gaping void I cannot seem to fill. The only way I can think of is to hug him again, to smell that signature cologne he would wear that filled his car and latched onto his leather seats. But that scent slowly departed, like a piece of driftwood dropped into the lake, peacefully floating away until merely a memory. But why am I telling you all of this? Dear thief, are you sorry? But what should that matter to me? Your apology will change nothing, just like hating you will not fill the menacing abyss inside my chest, because while the edges are crumbling and I'm teetering on the edge waiting to fall in, you are playing solitaire. So, dear thief, the damage you did can never be repaired. But that's where it ends, because it is not about you. I won't let it, because I choose me. I choose him. I choose light.
The sun goes up and the sun comes down. We fly and we dive to our deepest depths. We gasp and we rush to the ending. Questions answered and answers are questioned. Journeys have begun and destinations are to be met at the horizon.
That's one black woman. Dark, wronged, and yet so full of life. She carries the burden of many and holds history in her palm, while the burn of rope lays on her neck, singed with raw red skin and blotched with hate. A fury passed down from generation to generation. She carries them to freedom, the freedom we desire and crave. Right now, it is nothing but a lie that keeps the colored in check, but never changing the way we think. What comes of this woman? A life full of hurt, pain, sadness, and yet an everlasting want for freedom. Take it and spread it throughout the land of forgotten black souls and empower them. Divert their pain, divert their sadness, delve into the deep depths of our bloodlines and continue what had been started. For she is that one black woman, a woman of power. That's one black woman.
The sun goes down and the sun comes up. We rise and we fall. We lay down and rest on the fantasies that we dream. Wants and needs are confused, and those standards are noted, the meaning of our actions are demoted. Finding ourselves blaming others, we feed on resentment and are fully devoted to comfort. Though is this right? Shouldn't we move forward, continue on our track, focus on self, and seal up the cracks? Or let our wounds be the bricks we use to build atop the foundation that we stand on? Clean mind, full soul, completely aware of what's necessary to fulfill our own personal happiness. The sun goes up and the sun comes down. We rise and we fall.
We fall and we rise.
We rise and we fly.
We fly and we die.
We rise and we fall.
We live our lives.
We live our lives.
We live
We live.
We live.
We live.
We live.
for purpose.
Little darling, it's been a long, cold, lonely winter. Little darling, it feels like years since it's been here. Here comes the sun, doo-doo-doo. Here comes the sun, and I say it's alright. Little darling, the smiles returning to their faces. Little darling, it feels like years since it's been here. Here comes the sun, doo-doo-doo. Here comes the sun, and I say it's alright. Sun, 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 here it comes. Sun, 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 here it comes. Sun, 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 here it comes.
We hope you enjoyed the show.
Thanks for watching.